I'm so grateful to everyone who's buying Chris Wallace's wife's book, Mr. and Mrs. Sunday's Suppers. With a $250 donation, both Chris and Lorraine will sign the book for you. We just got a phone call from the assistant police chief of Fulton County, Georgia. That department lost a detective last week, a detective who was shot in the head and killed. He was ambushed. He leaves 4 children behind, 4 sons. And so my foundation raises money for families like these brave hero families who've lost an officer. And we came up with, I think, a clever idea to get there quickly. If you make a $250 donation or more to Gallagher's Army, the Fallen Officer Fund, you'll get a personally signed copy of Lorraine Wallace's Mr. and Mrs. Sunday's Suppers, signed by both Lorraine and her ne'er-do-well husband, Chris Wallace.
Did I agree to this?
You sure did. I have it in writing. You better have I hope you don't get writer's cramp, because this is going well.
How many books?
Our goal today, we're looking at getting close to 100 books. Now that's not bad for $250 a pop.
No, it's a wonderful cause. I don't know why I agreed to this, but
and no auto writer. You can't get like what the president has.
I don't have an auto writer.
Do not. You've got to sign those with you.
I'll sign them.
And Lorraine,
you'll see how beautiful Lorraine's signature is and how terrible my signature is.
Your chicken scratch. I mean,
it is chicken scratch.
This is a simple. We're going to ship the boxes to you. You guys just have to sign them and ship them back to me, and then we'll do the rest. No muss, no fuss. Just take a nice, like a nice evening, light the fire, get a bottle of wine, sign a bunch of these books.
Yeah, then they'll start getting crazy and misspelled, and they'll be slanty and all this stuff. That won't be good.
Well, one guy, I wasn't going to ask you this, but one guy said he bought a book for $300. He went a little higher. He goes, and then I'll put in another $300 if Chris will write Mike Gallagher is my hero on the book.
No, there's no. I mean, there probably is a price at which I would do it, but $50 out over the limit is not the price.
Another $300. Another $300.
I still wouldn't write that. I would write Mike Gallagher is. And then I would fill in the blank.
Yes, that's what I figured. But seriously, all kidding aside, thanks to you and Lorraine, because this is really helping us. If we can hit 100 today, which I think we've got a very good shot of doing, that's a great number of families who will be helped. I mean, we send the checks anywhere from $3,000 to $6,000 or $7,000 or $8,000 per family, so you can get an idea of how many books that to sell. If we sell 100 of those at $250 a piece, I mean, we're looking at a pretty good amount of money here. So thank you for doing that.
No,
it's one of the.
I tease you. I am still. I vaguely remember having said yes to this, but having said that, I think it's a wonderful cause, and I'm happy to do it.
Well, that was all you did. You just said yes in an email. You're a man of few words on that one. I thought, oh, great. But he said it. I've got the email. He tries to back off.
Well, that could have been somebody else who sent that email. I mean, it might have been Hillary Clinton for all we know.
Those are deleted. Those emails are gone. Those are in the ether. We'll never
find those. Can I just say
something
about that?
Yeah. Well, before we say something about that, let me remind everybody, if they want your wife's book that you and she will sign, just go to Gallagher'sArmy.org and click on the book link, Mr. and Mrs. Sunday's Suppers link, and you'll, again, $250 or more, you'll get the signed book, or call toll free, have your credit card ready, 888-99-I-GIVE, 888-99-I-GIVE. Maybe Hillary would want to make a donation and support our foundation. She just can't be reminded we just can't remind her by email. I mean, wow, what a mess this is, huh? For her.
Well, I mean, what I was going to say is, if Richard Nixon had followed the Hillary plan, he never would have had to resign as president. I'm serious. If he had just sat there when the information of the tapes came out and had just said, you know what, I'm burning them. I mean, that's what she did.
But there was the 18.
She destroyed half of the emails.
But there was 30, the 18-minute Rosemary Woods gap. Remember that? She had.
I know, but that's because they didn't just have the guts to sit there and burn it all. He should have just said, here, get me the tapes, and we're just going to destroy them. And before there was any court case, before they were under subpoena, I mean, isn't that what Secretary Clinton did? She just destroyed it.
I swear to you, I'm going to say this not biased. There's no political...
There's nothing you can say that's not biased, but go ahead.
True, but I'm going to pretend not to be biased, and I'm going to say this with all sincerity. I'm not kidding you, Chris. How could she possibly survive this and be able to run for president of the United States? I mean, when you think about deleting thousands of emails on an account you shouldn't have had when you were the top diplomat in the world, are you kidding me?
Because I think eventually the story here. I'm going to tell you what I think runs out of steam and what doesn't, because eventually the story runs out of steam, and that is the genius of what she did. I mean, you
genius.
Let me finish. Political genius of what she did, because the fact is that they're gone. And you know, she says, well, she deleted them. And people say, well, maybe they can look at the hard drive. What do you bet that the hard drive was destroyed? I mean, I think they just decided if there's nothing there, there's nothing anybody can investigate, and she's going to say, I did it. And, you know, at a certain point, we can't cover nothing.
That's right. You can't say, well, we don't know what's there because she got rid of it.
Right. I mean, you can say that for a while, and we will. But there are questions about it. But at a certain point, now that's what she got away with, I think. On the other hand, anybody who watched that news conference, and look, I think there were a lot of good things about the Clinton years. We had relative peace and prosperity. We had a balanced budget. We had welfare reform. A lot of that under the duress of the Republican majority in the House and Newt Gingrich. But nevertheless, there were some good things, but there were also some bad things. There were scandals, and there was legalisms, and there was this kind of parsing of words. You know, what the meaning of the word is. And I think her performance on Tuesday reminded you of all of that. And that's what I think the lasting damage of this is that at a time, you know, as we saw in 2008, elections are always about the future, not about the past. And, you know, when you look at Clinton, unless she's able to do something really effective, you're going to think, you know, this is the one who's destroying the documents and playing by her own rules and doesn't feel that she has to abide by the regulations everybody else has to. And I think that's the lasting damage.
The scandal that the Democrats seem to be focused on with Hillary is the process of millions of dollars being funneled into the Clinton Foundation while she was Secretary of State, in some cases from nations that she had to do business with as Secretary of State. That seems to be a controversy that the left is fixated
Well, and also the fact that here she is in this last week when what she was hoping was going to be focused on is what a champion she is for women's rights, and yet they were accepting, the Clinton Foundation was accepting hundreds or thousands of dollars and millions of dollars from regimes like Saudi Arabia and Qatar and the United Arab Emirates, which don't treat women so well, and in fact in some cases really oppress women. And you can be sure that critics on the left and the right are going to bring that up. You know, I got to tell you, there are a lot of people in this town of Washington who would love to see not you know, one of these sort of second-tier people who's talking about running, but a front-tier person like Elizabeth Warren, like a Joe Biden, like a Andrew Cuomo of New York, so that they could have an alternative. You know, that they don't like the idea of this coronation and putting all their eggs in the Clinton basket anymore.
Robert Reich said that the other night, in fact, that he suggested Elizabeth Warren should throw her hat in the ring, and it seemed to be that he was suggesting he'd like to have all the hot spotlight deflected off of Hillary. That was the only reason, it seemed. Let's just spread this out a little bit. I'm telling you right now, if Elizabeth Warren is the candidate and would somehow, God forbid, wind up in the White House, if that dingbat could become president, if she could become president, I'm moving. I'm leaving. I'm leaving the country.
That's reason enough for me to vote for her.
I'm pulling an Alec Baldwin. Where should I go?
Yeah,
Caribbean?
And what happened to Baldwin? Did he leave?
No, he never leaves. He never goes. He's like a rash. He never goes away. I'm telling you, I'll bet you right now Hillary cannot run. I'll bet
run?
She will not run.
You're saying she's not going to announce next month?
She's not going to run for president.
How much?
$5,000. $5,000
You
says
think she is not going to announce for president?
She will not run for
president. I mean, you sound like Mitt Romney. Let's make this a reasonable amount, and the loser has to contribute it to your fund, to Gallagher's Army.
That's right, and we're going to make it interesting, $5,000.
No, we're not going to make it that interesting. How about $100?
Oh, please. Come on.
Oh, please? Well, excuse me. You know, I'm not a radio talk show. I'm not like Rush Limbaugh and you, where I have private jets and I fly around. No,
that's not even half of what many people are donating for your book, for your wife's book.
I understand that, but it's a very special book.
I know. I'm a very special man.
Not that special.
All right. All right. $100. $100.
You think she is not going to announce?
She's not. I'm saying she's not going to run. I don't know.
Well, all right, but if she announces, then she's running.
She's not going to announce.
She's not going to announce.
She can't survive it. There's no way. There's no way There's no way after all this is hitting her between the eyes that she can even begin a candidacy for president. There's no way. You know that's a good possibility, Chris.
No,
admit
I don't think it is. I think that she absolutely runs.
Okay, $100.
We have $100 on it.
Right.
And I mean, for God's sakes, it's for your charity.
But no, I don't want to do it. Forget it for that. If it's that little amount of money, that's just a personal bet. I want the money. I want the cash. So it's $100 to you or me. There's no charity
Forget
involved
the charity.
If it was
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the guy who's been flogging this charity.
No, they know I love my charity.
I'm not $100 will help somebody.
$100. I want more money for the charity. $100 is just that's a good meal. That's a good steak dinner.
For you, it's an appetizer.
That's just getting started. All right, we've also got Ferguson on fire. 2 cops shot. Thank goodness they weren't killed. I don't know how they didn't get killed. And Chris,
yeah, one of them shot in the head,
in the face,
and apparently the bullet is still lodged behind his ear.
And they released it.
How would you like to try to go through, airport security?
I would be.
What is that in your? That's a bullet in my ear.
If I got shot in the face, I'd be in the hospital for the next 3 years. I'd never leave. And they'll already let him out. He's out of the hospital, so I guess it's okay. But Chris, I got to ask a practical question. There's 50, 60 cops standing there in front of the police department. The shooter shoots into the line of cops. How did they not catch this person?
Well, because apparently, I don't think it was right there in front of the police department. I think it was on the outskirts of the protest, and it was kind of an ambush. He shot from the darkness, so he was hidden, and in other words, he wasn't out in the clear line of sight. That's what I understand.
Well, that's strange.
But it's terrible, whatever it is.
Of course, it's terrible.
If they catch him or them.
And the optics of it, the politics. Investors Business Daily. I've been quoting an article from them today. Headline: Holder gets his wish. An open war on police officers. I'm sorry, Chris. I don't know how people can't connect those dots where Eric Holder has made this big deal about, the practices of the officer was completely cleared, completely exonerated. If you read the report from the Justice Department, he didn't do anything wrong, much less violate Michael Brown's civil rights. But they gave out too many speeding tickets to black people. This is a sham. This whole thing is a travesty.
Well, in my view, I don't agree with that. I don't. Okay. I mean, you don't think? I mean, look, you're quite right that Darren Wilson was found completely cleared of anything in the shooting of Michael Brown. On the other hand, they did do an investigation, a separate investigation of the police department, and I just don't think you can. The idea that you can blame some thug, some punk, to use Holder's word, goes up and shoots somebody. I mean, it's like that crazy person who shot his girlfriend in Baltimore and then comes up and shoots 2 cops. Do you really think he did that because Bill de Blasio said? I mean, people do terrible things, and I just don't think it's fair to.
Seconds after the shooting, one protester was heard on tape saying acknowledgement 9 months ago would have kept that from happening.
Well, somebody shot off his mouth. He didn't.
Another protester tweeted, "It's time for the people to fight back against these racist-ass pigs." I mean, and you've got Eric Holder, Chris, whether we like it or not, sort of fanning the flames, saying, I know what it feels like to be racially profiled. There's Barack Obama last night on Jimmy Kimmel going on about, the practices in Ferguson.
Well, wait, but he also condemned the shooting and said that what a terrible thing that was.
Well, that's big of him. I mean, what else is he going to do?
I'm just saying,
I
just think...
These guys have handled this badly, Chris.
Well, wait a minute. I mean, okay.
I just think they've handled it badly.
I'll even give you that they've handled it badly, but I don't think you can go ahead and blame them as some people are for the shooting. I'm sure a lot of your listeners think you can, but I just think that's not right or fair.
All right, Andrew wants to get in on our bet, by the way. Andrew, you're on with Chris Wallace. What's your bet? What is your bet going to be?
I'll bet $5,000 if you'll accept payments in installments.
What did he say? If Hillary what?
She's running.
She's running?
There's no way. She's Hillary Clinton.
She's going to run. That's what Clintons do.
He said that he'd bet $5,000 if we'd taken...
So you're going to take up the bet? So Mike, are you willing to bet Andrew $5,000?
I don't know, Andrew. I can't take that
bet. What do you mean? I'm sure Andrew would give you all the information.
He hasn't been vetted. I have to vet him first.
It sounds like there's a little bit of a weaselly thing going on here.
I know Chris Wallace. I don't know Andrew from Brooklyn.
And I'm not.
Yeah, I'll admit that I would have to pay in installments because I'm not like Chris Wallace.
That's right. Trust me, none of us are like Chris Wallace.
I'm not like Chris Wallace either, at least if you think Chris Wallace is.
So what kind of installments?
When I open my wallet, moths fly out, Andrew.
He doesn't pay for anything, Andrew. I've seen it.
Cheap man.
Ask him if he's ever bought it. Ask him if he's ever bought a ticket to a football game or a basketball.
Arms.
Yeah, tell me about it. So what would the installments be? How much would you pay me if I won?
Maybe $5 a week.
$5 a week. All right, goodbye. Get off my phone. I told you he wasn't serious.
Andrew,
goodbye.
You should have lied.
He's
at
gone.
least say $100 a week.
I broke my finger hanging up on him. I mean, he got hung up on so hard. I told you.
Oh my
see,
gosh, that wasn't good.
That's the vetting process by Mike Gallagher.